Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another debate slash discussion. This week we are going to be talking about.
Bad. Hey guys, welcome to the.
I was going to start introducing people after I said the title. I was changing it up a bit. Damn it, you!
No, this time I'm fucking doing it because this is a topic that you guys came up with, and I am going to drive this into the ground.
Why?
But guess what? We're not talking about Final Fantasy today, but Final Fantasy is still an example of ongoing game series. Whoa! Except it isn't, because every single Final Fantasy is different from every other game, so we're not going to talk about Final Fantasy. Sorry to disappoint you, Final Fantasy guys. Just move on and click something else. I don't care. Anyway,
wow.
Final Fantasy.
What are we talking about today then?
Well, we're talking about games like FIFA. Nah, FIFA.
Essentially, any games that that are going on either by sports, FIFA, or ongoing storylines like Assassin's Creed, Resident Evil, so forth.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm going to take a position of saying that the ongoing franchises need to end. They need to end. A resolution. That's what they need. Because I don't know about you guys. Because I honestly kind of get tired of a world that just seems like just has like infinite problems over and over again. Like, I don't know. It's like with say Assassin's Creed, for example. It's essentially just the same story from the first game. It's about finding the pieces of Eden. Second game's about that, and so forth, and it's just doesn't go anywhere.
Mm.
I noticed that it just seems like I don't know. There's not a lot of lasting consequences, I guess.
It's too long for you.
Yeah, there we go. It's just too long.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that's the point.
If it going too long?
Yeah, especially because somebody's going to be introduced to the franchise that way. Like for example, a lot of people tend to say that they got introduced from Assassin's Creed 2, but I know of a few people that got introduced and love Black Flag. So
you see, I see here with Assassin's Creed, when you look at it from a story perspective and gameplay perspective, it's essentially lost all of its original traditions and stuff. It's no longer about being an assassin. You're not a Spartan. You're not a Viking. You're a pirate. It's no longer about being a stealthy assassin that's just a myth, a legend to most people. You're now something else on the battlefield.
yeah, and whose fault is that?
Ubisoft, I guess. Who else am I supposed to blame?
I was thinking the fact that if there's a franchise that it needs multiple games to tell one big story, that I'd be fine with. But if it's kind of like the Lord of the Rings kind of thing, it's a long ass story, but it does lead to a conclusion, to an ending.
But the thing is, I'm pretty sure that nobody sees the success of the franchise coming, and that's how it becomes a franchise.
Yeah, which I get that. Hey, I'm glad certain games get sequels and stuff. But honestly, I respect the ones that come to an end. Like the original Silent Hill games, 1, 2, and 3, and 4. That was it. That was supposed to be it from the developers. That was it. 4 was supposed to be the last. But it was the Konami wanted to continue it, and now look where Silent Hill is at now. It's now a hollow shell of its former self.
Yeah, it doesn't. They don't have the same impacts.
I'm pretty sure it's dead.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's dead at this point.
Yeah, Silent Hill is dead, but it's a pachinko machine now.
That
sucks.
sucks.
A fucking decade without games. Come on.
Yeah, I know, but that's what I'm talking about. Games that go on for so goddamn long lose what they are and become something else.
Yeah, but that's the thing about Silent Hill. We haven't had any games, so it's not even ongoing. It's just
Yeah, it's dead, but it's just an example of like games that my point was that the Silent Hill franchise ended, and I would have been happy with that. It just ended, and now we get these next installments that essentially just soils the franchise.
So what next installments? Like
Homecoming, Downpour, Shattered Memories, the Book of Memories.
Oh, shut up! Like people are basically just coming back now and saying that Shattered Memories and Downpour in particular are actually good games.
No, I take the defense that Downpour is a bad game, and Shattered Memories is all right.
No, excuse me, but I'm pretty sure that Shattered Memories actually did something right with their brand of horror, especially because it's more psychological than the very first game.
Is that the one where you get chased by children with bull heads?
Yeah.
And you can't really defend yourself, you could only hide?
Yeah. That's such a... Okay, this is not going to become a review of Shattered Memories, but...
I'm not saying that it's a fucking fantastic game or a masterpiece, but... Like I said, people are basically saying, hey, Downpour is good now. Especially because this guy Nitro Red started that fucking bandwagon. So yeah, the fucking thing about Silent Hill becoming bad is now fucking subjective, okay?
It's subjective. Okay, well, from my personal point of view, that the franchise kind of went downhill after 4, and just those future installments just soiled the legacy. Again, let's go.
4 is fucking terrible, dude.
Well, okay,
but it did end a conclusion, because if you remember, every time you beat the game, or before you even beat the game, there are little treasure things that you can find. Like if you check garbages or certain areas, you can get little tidbits.
4 wasn't exactly a conclusion, especially not because of the whole.
No. I'm saying there is a piece of paper or something that will tell you the previous game's true ending by telling you, like, for example, the true ending of number 2 of
James.
Yeah, the one with James is that. But in number 3, you find out that his car was found in the, is it lake or river?
Yeah, I think it was the lake.
So the true ending for number 2 is the drowned ending.
Yeah,
and
but okay.
Like every single one kind of did that. It tied the world.
It's scalding water. Thank you very much.
Well, I played it since when it came out. I haven't played it in a long time. Sorry.
Wow.
I played 3 and I don't remember any game at any point in the game that James's car was found.
It was on a newspaper clipping article.
It's on a newspaper. It's there are times where you see
newspaper?
Dude, it's been a while. We're at
the game.
It's in one of the garbage cans. I don't remember exactly.
You're misremembering. You're misremembering.
Okay. This is not discussion about. Okay, so we don't know what they do, and the point is, where you love or hate 4, it was intended to be the final game from the development team into the series.
Yeah, it was supposed to tie everything.
And some people love 4, some people hate 4. It's mixed, but at least it was some sort of conclusion that this was going to be the final one. All the mysteries are in there. It's for you.
It really wasn't a conclusion, especially because it didn't even take place in Silent Hill.
Oh my god.
Oh, well, I'm trying to remember which Silent Hill. One of the Silent Hills mentions a carnival murder that a lot of kids got killed. Number 4 gives us the killer and why he kills.
Again, that's why I'm telling you that you're misremembering. The newspaper you're talking about, that's found in the garbage. That's the garbage can that you find in Silent Hill 2, which describes the very first murder of Walter Sullivan, which is the game's antagonist from 4. And that newspaper is actually the fucking base, the entire basis for the entire game of 4.
Okay, well, we're just going to look that up later. We're just going to look that up later or play it later to find out what that's going on, but that's not today's topic about. We're not here talking about what is the story of Silent Hill.
Yeah, but still, the point is that it really wasn't the end of the franchise, and Team Silent never intended it to be the end of the franchise. They moved on to other things, namely Project Siren, but...
Wait, they made Siren? Huh. Well, anyway, okay, fine, let's look at a different franchise. Let's go back to Assassin's Creed real quick. Okay, so Assassin's Creed 3, when you look at that game's ending, it made it sound like either both, well, the ending you get is forced, I believe. It's forced. When you look at that, it's like, this feels like it should have been the conclusion. This should have been the end. It's either, whatever the hell that game's ending picked. Does anyone know the ending of Assassin's Creed 3? Because what the actual true ending, it was either, A, everyone burns alive, and then he comes out to be the Messiah, or B, that doesn't happen, things just continue as they're going.
I love how I'm getting Assassin's Creed spoiled from you now.
Sorry, but it's like Assassin's Creed 3, when you look at it, now you love it or hate it, I feel like that was kind of in some ways intended to be the last one, or at least to wrap up the story. But then the future installment is like, they don't go anywhere. In some cases, they get even worse. Unity, for example. And it's just
Alex, were you even giving a damn about it? Like, be honest with me.
No, not really.
Then don't act like you do. God damn it!
I'm just saying.
Not like you were going to play the games.
Not really.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So my point. Yeah. So my point is like since it's been going on, instead of just ending it on a bit of a bitter, strong note, I guess. It just continued on, and now look at what it's become. It's now a game less about assassinating and more about how they can grind you to get meaningless weapons and stuff.
Crickets.
Awkward.
Look,
you're supposed to respond.
Look, I do not care or give a damn about Assassin's Creed. So yeah, that's going to start the whole argument off.
Okay.
But if it didn't stick to its original formula because it doesn't work anymore, and if its continuity doesn't make any sense, then yeah, it's obvious that they're going with the brand recognition alone, unlike Silent Hill, which is actually stayed dead for over a decade, Chris.
Well, you know what? They were going to bring it back. They were going to bring it. Technically speaking, it was alive with PT, then it died.
Yes.
And there's actually been rumors that Silent Hill is going to come back again.
And that's the point, Chris. Silent Hill, as it is right now, is dead. And in Assassin's Creed's case, it's not. Because, again, because they keep milking the franchise off of brand recognition alone. And from what I've seen of Valhalla, again, it looks like a decent game on its own, but I didn't recognize the whole, I didn't recognize it from the first Assassin's Creed, which I'm basically just using as a basis to basically say, hey.
Yeah, so then, oh gosh.
So what I'm getting at here is that Assassin's Creed, in terms of ongoing franchises, I think that if it doesn't really follow its fucking roots, then yeah, at that point you don't really have, that you're not supposed to keep going, and yet Ubisoft still does, in terms of,
I wouldn't mind so much if the stories and gameplay were still really good, but the fact is that Assassin's Creed shows that, yeah, this franchise is do need to end, or they just grow stale.
Yeah.
And so when we so that's why I think like just franchises need their story needs a resolution of some point.
Again. This is why I am telling you. A lot of companies don't tend to see the success.
Okay.
Like they don't see the success coming. Okay? And because of that, they really don't future proof. And in some cases, they try to make them self-contained, so that they
Yes.
don't, so that they don't tend to mess with continuity, or in case that the franchise does get canceled and die, they don't have to. They basically just return to the status quo.
Yeah.
So that it warrants that.
Can I bring up something I want to talk about?
Actually, yeah, you've been quiet for the majority of this.
Yeah, because I've never played something like Assassin's Creed or stuff, so I don't
And
really.
nobody cares about Assassin's Creed. So
A franchise that I've been following since I was a kid is Tomb Raider, and that's been going on since 1997 or something. An interesting thing there is that the franchise technically was supposed to end with Tomb Raider 4, but they kept making more games. So what we ended up with was a franchise that died, then got resurrected, then died again, and now we have the 3 games that have come out recently. They are really good, but at the same time, they don't really evolve Laura much beyond who she was in the first reboot game. Like I don't feel she's different enough in those later games to really justify the whole reboot thing.
No. The reboot trilogy is essentially become the Tomb Raider. You become the Tomb Raider in the first game. Then in the second game, you become the Tomb Raider, and in the third game, you become the Tomb Raider.
You become the Tomb Raider. Yeah, that's my whole issue with those games. So I just feel like we only needed one of those games because they're not doing it.
We became the Tomb Raider 3 times already.
Yeah, exactly. We became the Tomb Raider 3 times.
If I remember right, didn't the story quality, like I know it got rebooted a couple of times, like in if I remember right, the first story, her parents disowned her because they wanted her to, like they already were rich and they wanted her to be a certain way, and she was just like, nah man, I love history too much, and she just goes off and gets the shit herself and makes a name for herself. But then they rebooted that and had it where it's like, oh, her parents disappeared because they were into it too, and it's like, no, I kind of like the original, and also too.
The thing is that originally we didn't really know much about Laura's backstory. We just knew she was like an ass-kicking adventurer that just loved going on adventure and lived in mansions and stuff. That was very simple, and I kind of miss when Tomb Raider was just Laura is an ass-kicking, adventurer, and she didn't really need a justification for it.
No.
But then they felt a need to give her a backstory, and that's where everything started kind of going downhill, in my opinion.
But even then, for example, you can forgive the games for giving her that kind of backstory. But for example, when it comes to the legacy or whatever the name is called, and you see her in a futuristic latex suit, blowing up buildings, and I'm like, what is going on?
I felt the exact same thing when I was playing it. I was like, what is this?
I know
Well, I was gonna say, this to me that played all of them, feel like the story feels like the story went downhill when they screwed over the creator.
Yeah.
Like,
oh my God.
Yeah, like if I remember right, he thought that he was like friends, family, or something like that with them, like they were close, and they made him sign something that he didn't check the fine detail, and they screwed him out of his own character. He has he can't draw it, he can't have no ties to it, and that broke his heart, and a lot of fans really hated that. And that's when the reboot happened, and then it wasn't the same. The character changed. Like her original look from the very first is her wearing kind of like a bathing suit underneath her shorts, and she had a couple of guns on her. She had her hair tied up in a ponytail, braided ponytail, and she had round, like, shaded glasses. Yeah. And she had personality. She was like the type of fun you would have with Devil May Cry because of Dante. She's kind of like a female version kind of thing, where it's like she's a lot of fun. She does what she wants. Yeah, she's never. But she ends up super serious character. Yeah, and she does what's right. Like, first she just goes there to see it for herself, but she always seems to be like, oh, bad guys want it because of, evil world domination. And she's just like... So she's just...
Okay. Sorry to divert, but anyone knows what the Lara Croft games were about?
At this rate, since they rebooted it, so, what, like 3 times already?
So the point is that they have been consistently reviving the
So the question is, should Tomb Raider just stay dead then? Should it just stay dead?
Yes.
I think so. Like, they have proven that with the recent reboots, they can't really stick to Lara, like, developing. They just keep going back to like 0 over and over again. So I'm just they're stuck in a cycle that they can't get out of. Like, it's a loop.
Yeah,
and I'm just getting kind of sick of it.
I feel like they would probably do better if they did a remake of 1, 2, 3, and 4, and keep the personality but build off of it. Like I'm gonna use Final Fantasy VII and remake. I'm just gonna use it real quick. Just let me finish. The fact that you have the foundation, but they built off of it. Like when you hear Cloud and Barrett and them, they talk during the fight, but they're still in character. So that actually adds more that on the remake side that you like more because they built off of it. That's what they need to do, is take what's there and just build off of what's there and just add more to it.
Yeah.
Because the foundation's already there.
Yeah. The problem, I think, is that I get the feeling Eidos and Square Enix are kind of ashamed of the old Laura character. I feel like they get the impression she was like very like sexist in a way.
How?
I can kind of get that on surface level. Because she was sexualized a bit in media. Like, they played on her sex appeal a lot, but
because sex sells.
Like, they can't use the original character because they think that the SJWs will like go insane or something. Because
they always do.
Yeah, because that's the association they get. Like, the original Laura was just a sex symbol. That's all she is to them. So they don't really want to do anything with the old games anymore, I feel.
That's horrible, because if you play the actual game, you get to understand her personality.
I mean, Angel of Darkness didn't exactly help things either. So.
Oh,
is that the Gothic one?
Oh, yes, that's the one where she pushes open doors and gets stronger.
That was the first reboot.
That was the first reboot.
That was the attempt at rebooting the franchise, and it was horrible.
Oh my god!
No, I'm even looking at the listing here. It's fucking Tomb Raider 6.
Really?
Yeah, it's part of the quote unquote main series. So
she had a Gothic phase.
Okay. So we know. So we have seen now an example of a franchise that we've all agreed that should have just died with the originals. Just died.
Laura died at the end of Tomb Raider 4, and she was dead in Tomb Raider 5.
Oh.
I just feel like at that point she had died, and the series just continued with her as some kind of ghost or something. So.
Yeah, that's what 6 looks like. Her in ghost form.
What about like games that when they get a new installment, but they just retcon everything behind it? Like say, actually Crash Bandicoot 4 would be a really good example.
Yeah.
Because I've actually played the original 3 and the remake, and I was aware there was a lot more Crash Bandicoot games. There was like one with Cortex Warp, some about riding creatures, kart racing, and all these other ones. And then when the 4th one comes out, it completely just retcons all of that, saying that none of that happens. 1, 2, and 3 are canon, but the rest didn't.
Which is kind of a shame because Wrath of Fortress was kind of fun.
Yeah, I know, right? That was actually, I actually liked that one. That was fun. That was actually one of my first introductions to the character.
Yeah, it wasn't as good as the classics, but it wasn't.
Yeah, but that was my first time being like actually introduced to the character, so I absolutely still have like a soft spot for that game.
Yeah.
But so here's where I'm conflicted. Like, I want to see Crash continue because I am really enjoying 4, but I don't want the same thing that happened to Crash, what it was going through all its sequels and what's currently going with other ongoing franchises. Part of me kind of wishes that 4 just ends it here. This is the last Crash game ended with a bang. But
the thing is that
This could decide to have a spasm, but like I was saying, that's supposed to happen anyway, especially if the franchise keeps going.
yeah, but I mean, like, what number should it stop at? I guess would be the question.
And eventually they just stop with numbers, anyways.
Oh yeah, pull the Assassin's Creed thing. Name the sequel something, Assassin's Creed Revelation. Then the next game, the 4th game to an installment, call it Assassin's Creed 3.
What?
Yeah, they did that. The first game's called Assassin's Creed. Second game's called Assassin's Creed 2. Third game's called Revelation. No, third game's called Brotherhood. 4th game's called Revelation. And the 5th game is called Assassin's Creed 3. Gotta love that. I mean, I can't really talk.
Just stick the numbers, make it easy.
Oh, well, that I can't really say that. Same with Resident Evil. Resident Evil's done the exact same thing.
Origin. Wait. The origin story of the Assassin, despite the title.
Wow.
And all of these styles sounds so generic. You have like Origin and Unity and
Revelations.
Revelations. It's just so generic.
Wow! I just remembered that I purged Unity from my fucking head. Thanks for reminding me that it exists, Alex.
You're welcome.
Hey man,
Okay.
think of it this way: if you get some really good bugs, just upload it to YouTube.
Anyway, the point is that I do not like how, the majority of continuing franchises are just gone to fail. And again, I believe that they should die if, they really have no good ideas. Or if you have innovative ideas, but could be better suited for a new IP. That's essentially the point.
And honestly, if Assassin's Creed Odyssey was just called Odyssey, had no ties to the Assassins, and it was about a game, playing as a Spartan, I think I would have given that game a chance, and I wouldn't, tied it with the other Assassin's Creed games. It could stand on its own.
Yeah.
But the moment you slap a familiar name onto something, we can't help but to automatically just compare it to the originals. So, okay, so I'm going to bring up another one with mixed feelings about, is Resident Evil, the Resident Evil franchise.
Yeah. Where they have just stopped doing remakes.
Can we call it ongoing?
Oh, now with me, we're gonna settle this.
Yeah, they're also making Resident Evil 8, Generation of 7.
I know, but I don't know if you can call it ongoing. Because again, it's stuck in remake.
Well,
Yeah, they're just doing remakes.
I don't know when they're going to stop with the remakes. I know 2 was a success and a great game. I think it's a great game.
And
3 I'm completely avoiding for now.
fuck off, it's good.
No, it's not. Not even close to what the original was.
It's fucking good.
No, it's not. Not even close. The moment you compare...
Resident Evil 3?
I'd rather play the original 100,000 times over, which I already did, and the remake is garbage compared to the original.
Didn't they take out?
Just because it doesn't have life selection doesn't mean it's bad.
Life selection? What the fuck are you talking about life selection? Nemesis was so butchered in the remake.
Yeah, he was scripted instead of being able to pop out at any time. Do your heart jump?
No, he game wasn't that great. It was scripted. You just ran most of the time in the remake, but in the original, you had the option to either run or fight. In most cases, it's better just to run from the guy.
That's what I'm telling you. It may not have, I feel like, anyway.
Dude, he is no Mr. X.
Not to mention, we have the fucking RNG.
R&D?
Yeah.
But didn't that cut off a lot?
Do you know anything about the game that you're supposed to be standing for?
The remake? Look, I know that game.
You got nowhere to go now, boy.
Yeah, the original. The life selection. What? I'm trying to remember the life selection. Okay, you mean the moments where you had to pick choices?
Yeah.
Dude, I love those moments.
Yeah, but they're fucking the best ones. They don't even change the story that much.
It changes some of the events that you go through. Yeah, sure doesn't change too much. It was a new idea.
Yeah, but they're fucking strenuous.
Okay,
Okay,
back on topic. Anyways, okay, Resident Evil. We don't know with them I don't know when they're gonna stop with the remakes. Don't know. But my point was.
We're getting to stop with the remakes with Resident Evil 8.
Resident Evil Village with the. Well, my point is being before you interrupted me.
You're not afraid of a girl.
Right. Anyways, I played every single main entry and plus some of the side games. And when I first played 5 when it came out, I was like, alright, you know what? 5 wasn't the best game, but it wraps things up. Wesker is dead, Umbrella is gone. Yeah, essentially. Yeah, if you play 5 with a friend, it can be a lot of fun, but the point is, like, 5 to me was a decent conclusion. It wasn't perfect, it wasn't great, but it did end off the franchise. Wesker's gone, Umbrella's gone, whatever who's associated with these corporations are gone. It's over. Then they made 6, and that's where the franchise really hit rock bottom. Like, immediately. Especially after, like, Operation Raccoon Shitty, Revelations was not that good. It was alright, but it was not. Yeah, so it's like, to me, it's like, I was like, you know what, if they just end with 5, I've been happy with that. But then they made 7, I'm just like, now I'm just predicting, it's like, I want them to continue it, but at the same time, it's like, I don't want them to go back to where Resident Evil was at.
Which is gonna happen.
See, that's the part I'm conflicted about. I want it to end on a resolution, but at the same time, it's like, I do kind of want more of this.
Yeah, but this is Capcom.
Yeah, definitely. What about, like, franchises that were, like, debooted, like Devil May Cry?
Yeah.
Like they rebooted the franchise with DMC, but that one was just torn to shreds by fans because they absolutely hated the character.
Yeah. The story was interesting.
I'll give it that. The story was fine. I thought the story was fine.
Represented it right now.
Oh yeah, the sound.
The gameplay was fine too.
Yeah, it's just the problem was the character was just awful.
Yeah.
It's like, this is not Dante, and so like you got Devil May Cry 5 now. It's... Oh yeah, the gameplay and soundtrack were great. It's just the story, not the story. The characters just suck. So this brings an interesting fact, like, so the reboot fails, and they go back to the original game, and so should we start asking that for instead? When the reboot fails, just go back to the original?
I think so.
I mean, that would bring back the original Lara Croft.
I like how
I just find it a little interesting predicting it there.
Yeah, I personally didn't care too much for the because I felt like her personality was nothing.
Oh, it really tried to be Uncharted. It really tried to be Uncharted.
Yeah, it felt like she felt like she has to do this instead of she wants to do this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like when they did that, I was like, no, you don't feel like the original. To me, I love the original.
So,
Yeah, but okay. Actually, I want to bring this game up real quick. Have you guys heard of a game called Infamous? Or
Gonna
Lightning?
get ya. Let's see you scamper your way out of this.
Lightning. So the first game, it ends on a cliffhanger. It ends on a cliffhanger. And Sony completely allowed that. Honestly, they even know, like Gil said, they don't know when to start a new IP, if it's going to make it big or not. And then the second game comes out, and it actually ends the franchise. It actually ended the story. And Infamous 2. That's where it ended. And actually, I really applaud Infamous because it told its entire story within 2 games. It didn't need 5 games to get to the damn point. It told its story within 2. That's what I love about it. But then Second Son happened and completely ruined everything.
Yeah, didn't you just tell me that the original storyteller?
No, the original
was not
storyteller.
allowed to tell it the way he wanted to.
What happened was actually Infamous 2, the next installment, Infamous Second Son, was supposed to be based on what ending that people got the most, or I think they liked the most, and most people picked the evil ending. The evil ending. Spoilers here. If you haven't played a decade-old game at this rate, is it a decade old now, or is it out there? Okay, well, anyways, they were going with the evil ending where Cole essentially wipes out humanity and is supposed to be only the conduits, mutants essentially. But Sony, I guess someone in the higher ups or something, or someone didn't have the heart to do it, to go off the evil ending. Someone in the division, either Sucker Punch or the higher ups, did not go off the evil ending. They didn't want that. So they went with the good ending, which now makes no sense. But my point is, both endings in the second time were very solid conclusions to the franchise. There was no need for a third installment. But I feel like the third installment was a higher up choice, and now we got Second Son.
yeah.
So it's like, to me, it's like that's where like games should be like more like Infamous, where they have a planned out storyline and they have a definite end set up with a certain amount of games.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, speaking of that, I finished Borderlands 3 recently.
Oh, yes.
And the thing is that with the Borderlands franchise, they actually kind of had a story going with 2. And that story was concluded, like, in some spin-off games. So, they were in a position where they had to make a new story for Borderlands 3. And the story sucks.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I know that.
So, we're at this point now where I kind of don't know if I want Borderlands 4.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. It's like, would you have preferred if they just stopped at number 2?
Actually, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah. So I could say, like, I am right then. Every franchise needs an end then. They need to end it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally. That's why I brought it up, because I agree with that.
Oh.
Borderlands 3 just feels entirely unnecessary.
Cool.
Wait, what game is it that I introduced you to that every single new edition of it is being the same story told?
Oh, yes. Have you guys heard of a game called Dynasty Warriors?
Yeah, I think so. It's very popular. So.
If you played one, you played them all.
Yes.
They're reselling you the same story with new costumes over and over and over. The same characters.
So it's basically the FIFA of
Which, okay, I guess we could talk about a bit of those FIFA games now. Like, my question is, why are they coming out with a new one every year when every single one's going to be the same? Why not just release one, have an update of adding new rosters to it, and just have it be it? I don't understand this whole mentality of selling another version of the same damn thing.
I cannot believe that you're asking this question right now.
Yeah.
I know it's for money reasons, but, like, come on. Like, there has to be, like,
an ending to that.
Not ending to that, like in some ways. Like, couldn't they just? What isn't it a better business practice just to release one and just come out with DLC and microtransactions for it, just instead of wasting money? Because doesn't like.
They can release a new game like every year.
Because don't they like? Don't they like
Do you
waste?
know what's going on or not? Do you know what's going on or not?
Yeah, it's just for money reasons. I get it, but like.
No. But like, do you know why it actually happens? Like outside of money?
No.
No.
Okay. Do you know what FIFA Ultimate Team is?
Yeah, it's a soccer team where you make your own team.
Yeah. And you know that it basically is fueled by microtransactions and loot boxes, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So each new entry is a refresh.
Wait,
AKA,
what?
every single bit of progression that you made in FIFA Ultimate Team gets deleted and put into disregarded in the new game. Start from scratch in the new game. That's essentially why they're doing it.
That is so fucking scummy.
Yeah, but what about all the money that you paid for the previous one? It doesn't carry over.
Yeah, it's like
So then you have to buy all over again.
that is.
So you're basically paying for temporary characters.
Wow. Okay. Well. There's no levels. This. Why do sports players, fans deal with this? I really don't understand that.
The developers are proud of this. They are really proud of.
Oh, I know. Like I heard recently, they say like, "Oh, 2 is better than a 1." And it's like, wow, they set the bar so low for themselves. But they don't.
Yeah.
It's like that's just. That's,
I mean, I have been trying to figure that shit out for the fucking years.
Don't you worry, none!
I'm just trying to wrap my head around why sports fans buy these games every year. I don't understand why they do this.
Oh.
Like, is there any? Do you have any explanation for that? Why sports fans just keep buying the same damn game over every year?
No.
No, there is no. That's a big mystery.
It kind of reminds me, kind of like of the situation with Sims, where it's like the later versions of Sims, they are actually reselling stuff to you in DLC, when in the previous one, you already had that stuff built in.
In defense of Sims, I actually watched my dad play these games when growing up. As far as I can tell, at least up to Sims 3, or Sims 2 and Sims 3 I heard is like argued one of the best ones. That just keeps going up and down. That's for some other time. And anyways, at least with 2 and 3, that's where they had like a lot of content and features there. It's 4 that did that, where they stripped all the content away that 3 and 2 had, and just trying to resell it.
I just want to say that I think 4 is that lacks.
So, that's the problem. That's what makes it a bad game, is that it lacks content. Like Resident Evil 3 Remake. There. So, I think just wrap up there and say, yeah, that's where I stand. Just games, just if ongoing franchises just need to end. At least plan it out how many you're gonna make of these.
Yeah.
And then once it's done, just be done with it. Move on.
Yeah.
Yep. So how about you? You all any closing thoughts?
And I think that some game franchises, like, they have a right to exist. They can make good and not the rest of it, just keeping going and stuff.
Yeah.
And like, I know that FIFA will keep going because again, those refreshes are pretty fucking business.
Settle down!
So
Don't leave, Sheriff.
yeah.
Stay and
The
business.
point is that stuff they want the money to
Yeah. So.
Let's just wrap it up.
Yeah, alright, well, we'll wrap it up. Thanks to everyone for joining in. What are your guys' thoughts? Leave it down in the comment section below. If you have any suggestions for what we talk about next time, or in future debates/discussions, also leave that in the comment section. Catch you guys later.
See ya.